Hello, everyone. How are you? This is Michelle G. Welcome to our provocative question session today, where we're going to focus on peeling back the layers that hold you back from achieving and having the love you desire in your life. I'm your host, Michelle G., relationship and dating consultant here, coming to you live from sunny San Diego. I hope you all have had an amazing week, and I am so excited to be just sharing all this information with you. So I want to go ahead and dive right in because I have had several people who have emailed me some amazing questions, and I just want to be able to go ahead and start answering those questions. So, all right, so bear with me. I'm here with my electronic device. All right, so from our first question comes from a hopeless romantic in love. And she writes, "Hey Michelle G, I really enjoy your hangouts and have learned a lot about myself and my relationships. Thanks for sharing your amazing tips and advice. I'm getting ready to go out on a first date on Valentine's Day. Ooh. With this great guy. We have been taking it slow and only talked on the phone and seen each other on Skype. I was wondering, how do I know if he's really interested in me after this date? Do I wait to call him or schedule something else with him? I really like him and I don't want to come off needy, clingy, or desperate. Please help. Hopeless romantic in love." All right, well, out there to you, hopeless romantic in love, if you're watching, I want to tell you, congratulations, you have a date on Valentine's Day. That's so awesome. So you asked how do you know if he's really interested in you after this first date? So here's the deal. You guys have already been talking, and I didn't get the backstory as far as how long you guys have been talking on the phone and on Skype. He's obviously interested in you if he's taking the first step to actually meet in person and connect. As we all know, connection in person can be a lot different than on the phone and Skype. But here's the thing. If you're able to have long conversations with someone on the phone for hours and hours and see them over video, it just builds up that desire and that like, oh my God, I'm so excited to actually see you, touch you, hug you. So one of the ways that you're really going to be able to know if you're interested, if he's interested in you, is that he is giving you his undivided attention. But he's not going to be hanging on his phone or kind of just like tapping around like, yeah. He may be a little nervous. So, don't judge him for that. But go there with an open heart, an open spirit, and just take it as it comes, okay? If you feel, you're really going to get a great sense for him, as well as if you continue talking to him on the phone for a while and seeing him on Skype, then you kind of have a sense for him. So you may just have a little bit of nerves. And as far as you asking, how do you know, do you call him after because you don't want to be clingy or needy? Here's the thing. Throw all those rules out the window. You both are mature adults, okay? The next day or that same night, thanks for a great night. I had a wonderful time. And if he calls you, he calls you. And if he doesn't, it's okay to pick up the phone and say, hey, I was thinking about you, and just start the conversation over. If he's not interested, he will probably say to you, hey, I had a great time, but you know what? I don't think it's a good fit. And if he doesn't and you get that vibe, you have every permission and every right to be able to ask the question. I know you had a great time, but I feel like things have kind of changed after we saw each other. Are you no longer interested? Did the dynamics change between us? And be prepared for whatever answer he or she may give you on your date, or after the date, Just be prepared and don't be hurt. Because here's the thing, if you ask that honest question, then you have to be ready for that honest answer, okay? So hopeless romantic in love, I wish you the best of luck on your first date. Go there with an open mind, an open spirit, open heart, and have a blast, okay? All right, so our second question, and just for everyone who's watching, if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube, the team is ready to just give me questions as they come. So don't be afraid to post your questions, or you can email me to more@michelleg.com. And I promise, if I don't get to your question tonight, then you'll get a response from me via email. All right, so we have another one from New Jersey, New Jersey. Hey, Michelle G. I'm a widow and would like some tips on how to get back into the dating scene. Well, let me first start off by saying that my heart goes out to you, and I can't imagine what that loss feels like. But I want to tell you that the fact that you're even asking this question, New Journey, New Jersey, is amazing. Okay, it means that you are getting comfortable with the idea of being able to reestablish yourself and grow and move forward in life and really, just kind of take it one day at a time. There's no set time for when a person is done grieving. There's no set time for when a person you can say, okay, after 3 months you can start dating, or after a year, or 18 months, or 2 years. There's no set time. It's really up to you. You have to be able to determine, number one, have you really gone through the healing process fully? Don't jump into relationships or into a date if you feel you're not ready. Is it normal to have guilt on the first date? Yes, it's very normal to feel somewhat guilty and feel like, you're doing something out of the norm. You're not with the person that and all these things come up that you feel guilty. But it's also normal to talk about it on the first date. I'm a widow. I was married for X amount of years, and my former husband, it was an amazing person, and it's okay to talk about it, but it doesn't have to become the topic of the entire date. The person that you're on a date with is not your therapist, okay? One other thing I would recommend also, if you feel like you're getting ready to go out there and venture on a date, one of the best ways is to maybe talk first through Skype or FaceTime and see how comfortable you feel with that. And then once you're ready and you think you can meet in person and you're okay with that, then take the steps forward to set like a coffee meet. Go to a coffee shop where there's a lot of people, and just start it off very easy, very nice and slow. Ease into it, okay? Don't feel rushed. And if the first date goes bad, then it goes bad. It doesn't mean that you're not ready, okay? But the most important thing to remember is that the healthiest relationship starts with you first. And if you work through all the different things that have come up for you during this process, and you feel that you're both feet planted on the ground and you're ready, then go ahead and dive right in, and you're going to have a great time. No expectations, okay? So I hope that helps you out in your new journey out there, New Journey, New Jersey, and I look forward to hearing from you and seeing how these tips helped you out. All right, our next question comes from a New York Jet girl. And just so everyone knows, I wanted to be very confidential with all the questions that came in. I didn't want to say people's names or Twitter handles or Facebook names, so they gave me their own, how they wanted to be referred to. So that's just confidentiality, and I want to respect their privacy. Hey, Michelle G. How can you express your sexual needs to your partner in a non-threatening way? A New York Jet girl. This is a great question. And I know that this happens as the relationship kind of develops. You have the first and the second year, like it's still new, it's still great, and if there's distance involved in it, then the relationship can feel new and great for a period of time if the person is living abroad or somewhere else, or traveling a lot for work. So once you get settled into what is considered the routine of your relationship, or just the standard thing, it's really interesting that sometimes sexual needs is not a topic that's discussed. And the reason that it's not discussed is because you don't want to offend the other person. You don't want to come out and say, hey, I'm not being sexually satisfied. And so it's a little bit of a conversation where most women and most men avoid it. Nobody wants to get their feelings hurt. But by avoiding it, it can sometimes be detrimental to your relationship. So the best way to approach and say to them, my needs are not being met, the best way that you can do that is, number one, on one of my past episodes I said, if you're going to have a serious conversation, okay, you don't want to say, make dinner and say, hey, honey, we have to talk. Because as soon as you say, hey, honey, we have to talk, their attention has gone out the window, okay? They know it's going to be a heart-to-heart and a serious conversation. So you want to bring it in with a great hooker. Okay, I said hooker the last time. It's not hooker. A great hook, I should say. So you want to bring it, sorry. So you want to bring it together with a great hook. So the hook needs to be something along the lines of, hey, you know, last night I really loved it when you did this. I was so aroused. I was really, really into it, you know. And then I don't know if you weren't getting that vibe from me, but I kind of would have liked if you explored that area or that sexual position or what you were doing a little bit further. And tell me, what is it that you like when I do, you know? Because now it's not all about you. You make it about them as well. Remember, a relationship is a two-way street. It's not a one-way street where it's just all about you. So that would be one of the best ways that I would say, talk about it like that. Hey, how did you enjoy this? How did you enjoy that? And here's something else. If you're actually in the moment, okay, and they're doing something that's not so comfortable or you're not enjoying it as much, you have a voice. It's okay to delicately say, hey, baby, can you move over? Or, you know what, let's try this, or let's try something different. It's okay to say that, okay? Do not be afraid. Sometimes a man is just so aroused and he's so into it that he doesn't know, you know, that he's kind of hurting you. So sometimes it's okay to just put your hand on their chest and hold their hand and say, oh, baby, get a little gentle. It's okay. We don't have to rush. Perfectly okay to say that. You're not hurting his ego, okay? But you're doing it in a soft and gentle way. So, New York Jet Girl, I hope this answers your question. And I'm going to go ahead and move along. Thank you for that great question. All right. Okay, next. Valentine's Day is around the corner, Michelle G. I want to do something special, unique, and thoughtful for my partner this Valentine's Day. What are some unique gifts or plans you would suggest? Well, you know, Valentine's Day is around the corner, and if you don't have someone to love or a special someone, guess what? Wrong answer. You do. You have yourself, okay? Because every healthy relationship starts with you. So get together with a group of friends, hang out, and go celebrate. Don't be one of those people who's sitting there and just, oh, Valentine sucks. And no, enjoy it, embrace it, because when it's your time and love knocks at your door, you want people to be happy for you. So I just wanted to say that. Well, some great ideas for Valentine's. So here's the thing. I suggest don't celebrate it when everybody else is celebrating it. Do it on your own terms. Okay. That's my first suggestion. Do it on a Saturday picnic. Do it on a Saturday hot air balloon ride. Do it on a Sunday brunch. You know what I mean? Do it non-traditionally. And here's another really great idea to be able to celebrate Valentine's Day is make the whole month like this scavenger hunt. And you don't have to get like uber creative, but you need to get just a little bit creative. So I would say make it like start maybe like 15 days before Valentine's starts, or, you know, 10 days before Valentine's or 7 days, and make it an entire like week thing, like a scavenger hunt, you know, where you leave little messages for one another, or you do little things. And another great idea too is instead of allowing it to be just a holiday where a man and a woman kind of interact and it's the traditional let's go to dinner and a movie, how about you guys talk about it and plan it out as far as like a theme? So this year's theme is going to be, we're going to go to the opera. My husband and I are going to an opera. It's something that we've never done. So we want to embrace the whole opera thing. So we want to, you know, dress up all very nice and go out on a great, you know, dinner and have some drinks and watch an opera, you know. That's something that we've never done before. But a theme, you can do something like, okay, it's going to be all about maybe charity. Maybe you want to express your love by doing something that you both enjoy that you haven't done in a long time but you would love to. Going and you know, volunteering for something different and just giving is such a great way to celebrate this time of love. So that's one of the ideas. And I also have a great resource for you. I have a dear friend of mine, actually. They're a married couple, and they are the founders of One Extraordinary Marriage. And they have some really great ideas on their blog. So if you have a chance, check out their blog. And they also have 77 questions to keep the conversation going. So if you feel like your relationship's a little stagnant, I would say check them out as well. So they're oneextraordinarymarriage.com. And you can also check out different types of tips there and lubricants to keep it spicy on that special day. All right, I hope that answers your question. All right, our next question. I'm hearing beeps everywhere. Okay, I have Jay who says, hey, Michelle, I need some tips for keeping things fun and exciting in the bedroom. What should one do when they don't feel their partner is meeting their emotional needs? Well, I kind of talked about this a little bit with a New York Jet girl, and I talked about different ways where if you're in the middle of the act or you're kind of getting ready, that how you should approach the situation. But if it's something that's happening over time and you've had this conversation with your partner, maybe it's been a little bit of a real serious one, or maybe it's been one where it's not so serious, but it's kind of just skimmed the surface. Here's the thing, communication is key. It's one of those things that you don't have to have a really, like, oh my God, heart to heart, but it has to be something where you're going to say, hey, dear, why don't we go out to the beach? Let's go hang out at the beach and let's just spend some quality time. Reminisce about how things were at one point. Bring yourselves back to that memory. Take yourselves there. Because when you take yourselves there and you take your mind out of everything that's happening day to day, it makes it a really great environment to talk about those moments that are difficult to talk about. I wouldn't recommend doing it in your home, in your environment, and here's why. Sometimes it can get into like one of those conversations that get very escalated. And if they get really escalated, that energy, that stays in your house, okay? And I'm not saying take it and leave it in someone else's house, but what I'm saying is to be out in nature, to put it out there and just out, where it's free and it's clean and the air just kind of sweeps it away is really the best way. Plus, it's non-threatening. And here's something, you always want to make sure that you're in an environment that is non-threatening. So I hope that answers your question, Jay. We have a couple of comments here. Thank you very much to some of the Google Plus listeners, and they're saying that I'm doing great. Thank you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, I have another question that came in from one of our viewers. Hi, I'm wondering how to spice up the love in the bedroom when they're only one boy. This is kind of hard to say on here. We always had another girl. We both dated him, and he dated both of us, so we have not found her yet, and we can only both touch him, not each other at all. So how do I spice up the lovemaking until we find the other woman for my man? He's a champion where he always has 2 sugar babies. Okay, so I think if I'm understanding this correctly, you are in a relationship and you guys are trying to bring another partner into the relationship, but in the meantime, until this happens, until the threesome occurs, you want to spice it up with your man in the meantime. Well, here's something really interesting about that. To have an open relationship sometimes can be difficult to deal with. It's not for everyone. So make sure that you outline what expectations you have for one another in that scenario, okay? What are the boundaries that need to be that you don't cross, and what are the boundaries overall? In the meantime, if you're trying to make sure that you spice it up just with that person, and you don't want to, until you find the other person, I would say, bring different things, different toys into your relationship. Get creative and do role playing. You can always play dress up. You can do a lot of different things. And playing dress up is not for young people only. The older we get, and when we first start off with our partners, we sometimes get really creative. And shame on you if you're saying that wasn't me, because I know some way, somehow, you got creative, okay? And it's all right. You're supposed to be that freak in the bedroom and be that woman when you're walking outside with your, Prada purse and everything else, you know? But here's the thing. Get creative. Like, you know, role play, introduce food. Okay, I'm a foodie. I love food. Have fun. Bake a cheesecake together, you know? Pour a little bit of something on you or have him lick a little bit of chocolate. It's okay. That is actually really arousing and enticing. It's okay. And so I hope that I answered your question. I was really trying to understand, and if I didn't, please email me more@michelleg.com, and I will make sure that I answer your question correctly. All right, and then I have, oh, we got some other questions coming in. I'm excited. So, hey, Michelle G, I've been single for 14 years, and I'm used to doing everything by myself. Recently, I met this amazing man. I've had a hard time letting him be a man and fully integrating him into my life. I was wondering, what can I do to allow him in more? So I think what, and this is, oh, we have two questions from Hot Mama in San Diego. So what I think Hot Mama is trying to say is that she's basically used to being Queen Bee. She does everything and anything else, and her motto is, I don't need a man. But if he comes along, great. All right. Here's the thing. Women, it's so funny. I think the generations, as things keep progressing in society, I think women have this even more of an attitude of, oh, you know what? I don't need a man. I can support myself. I am self-sufficient. I am financially independent, and I can hold my own. And ladies, I applaud you for that, and let me go ahead and applaud you right now, and that is phenomenal, and it is amazing, and it is true. But here's the thing. We need to allow men to be men in the relationship. I would say you've been single for such a long time, Hot Mama. 14 years, that's not a year. That's a long time, and I get it. You have your habits, you have things that you're looking for, and you know, you don't want to feel like someone's violating your space. I completely understand that. One of the tips to being able to let this person is to figure out first and foremost for yourself, what boundaries are yours? What are your boundaries? What are you willing to say, this is important to me and this is not a compromise? And what are you willing to say, you know what? This is not a boundary. This is not something that's important to me. Instead, this is something where I can collaborate with my partner so it brings us closer together. And let me give you an example. So an example would be when I first got married, or actually before I got married, for those of you who don't know, I used to be in the Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps for 13 years. It's a man's world. It's a gun club, okay? So in the Marine Corps, you got to hold your own, okay? And if I got any of my former military veterans out there, thank you for your service. And we all know, especially as women, it is not easy in the military. It's not. And so you get used to pulling your own weight. Pulling your own weight also gets us unaccustomed to being able to let a man hold the door for us. Start there. If he wants to hold the door open for you, let him hold the door open for you. If he wants to make you dinner and you're like, well, I don't need that, it's okay, I can do it myself, let him make you dinner, okay? If he wants to pay and take you out to a nice place, let him do it. Because the moment that you start putting a stop on him, number one, you're pushing him away. And number two, you're not allowing him to be that man and be chivalrous. And a big complaint in today's society is that men are not chivalrous enough. Well, ladies, if we continue to tell him, no, I can do this, no, I can carry the groceries, no, you don't need to carry that box for me. Listen, it's okay to be a woman. Appreciate it. Embrace it. Allow a man to be a man, okay? I think it comes down to, Hot Mama, it's very important for you to understand what your boundaries are, okay? And what you're willing to work with him on, okay? And start with the little things, okay? You don't have to open up all at once, but start with the little things. Don't be afraid to talk about what it is that you are afraid by allowing him to do more things for you. And her second question is, I have a hard time letting my feelings show because I won't allow myself to get hurt. I can completely understand that. We spend time together, but something triggers me. And on Sundays, it's like a switch has flipped on and I ignore him. We've had a few conversations about it, and his response makes me feel even worse. How do I open up and let him in? Well, Hot Mama, let me say this to you. I want to say this has to do solely and completely with you. You have to be willing to first figure out what is the fear behind why you're not allowing him to really be there, to open up. What is it? You know, that's something that you need to take a really deep look inside of yourself and be honest with yourself to say, what is it that I'm fearful of? And it's not just the fear of getting hurt, because something, I mean, let me be completely honest. People get hurt every day regardless. Sometimes you slam your hand against the door. You weren't expecting that, but you still slammed the door because you were upset and you got hurt. Your finger got pinched. You get what I'm saying? And I know that's kind of a far-out analogy to use, but I really want you to understand that hurt is not always something that you can prevent. It's a part of life, okay? But really, you have to go one layer deeper. What is it that you are really fearful of? And are you bringing past relationships and things that have happened to you into your current relationship? And at that point, if you're doing that, you're kind of self-sabotaging yourself in that relationship. So remember, if you yourself have not worked through different things or different issues, right? What is it really that's kind of holding you back? Because this starts with you. It's all about you, and you can't put it on him. You know, turning on and off this switch is something that's honestly something that's within you. You know what I mean? And here's the thing, after 14 years of being single, there's probably a lot of things that you haven't really been honest with yourself about. There's a lot of things that you've kind of just let it sit there, let it sit there, let it sit there. And if you want this relationship to work, it's about time to really take some time to be introspective. Okay? No, you don't need a man to support you. Okay? We are more than capable of providing for ourselves. But we are required to have connection. We are humans, and part of our dynamics and our genes is that we crave connection. That's just plain and simple. It's psychology. We crave those connections. So I hope that that's answered your question, and I hope that it has enlightened you. And if it hasn't, feel free to reach out to me, and I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. Let me see. I have some other questions here that are coming through. So let me just make sure. Okay, I have some people on the Hangout. All right, so I'm going to get on the Hangout. I'm trying to see all my questions here. Ooh. Oh, how come I can't see my Hangout questions? Technical difficulties. Okay, I think I got them. All right, well, let me make sure that I don't have any other questions waiting here. I don't seem to have any other questions. All right, well, I apologize for that. I just wanted to make sure that there was no more questions. So it has been, we actually meet our 20-minute mark, so it's good. So I just want to ask, if you guys have any last questions, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and send your questions through. If you are on Google Hangout, if you go to the events page, let me look just to make sure, I will go ahead and answer your questions. You can post them on there. Let me make sure there's nothing on here. Okay, and there is nothing else on here. Okay, well, I want to go ahead and just tell you that I have enjoyed spending this time with you. It's always a pleasure, and I hope that you've got a lot of great tips and ideas and just a lot of great information and advice. I'm always here for you guys. If you ever need to get a hold of me, you want to learn more about my programs and anything that I do, please visit www.michelleg.com. I look forward to connecting with you. If you want to connect with me via email, connect with me at more@michelleg.com. And if I didn't get to your question, I promise I will respond back to you on email. Until next time, I want to invite you to join us next week also. And I'll be coming from a different place. Join us for our Google Hangout, same time, same back channel, or I should say same Michelle G channel, next week on Tuesday. But until then, I want to remind you, every day is a new day to reignite your relationship. Have a fantastic week, lots of love, and talk to you soon. Ciao.